finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us. And that thief over there.
So, you decided to abuse KALISTA to climb, but then you realized you were so garbage at her that you are single-handedly decreasing her win rate? Or maybe you were masochistic enough to pick her up, but changed your mind because it was too much even for you? Well, worry not, my bronze friends. Today I'm gonna teach you how not to be completely useless like this guy. I know a lot of you guys struggle with, well, a lot of things, but for some reason you just don't know how to play as an ADC in general, and with KALISTA it's not gonna get any better. So to make it easier on you, and so you don't butcher my champion, I broke down the KALISTA to 3 playstyles. I would assume I don't even have to explain them in the first place, but I've spent too much time on Reddit. Let's start off with the most common playstyle, lethal tempo. I know, I'm very creative naming those, thanks. It's mainly used for extended fights, and with the ramping DPS, it's really good into tanks and bruisers. Yes, that also includes enemy support. It's also very reliable no matter the team comp just because it's so flexible with the itemization. I won't be going over the items because I've already done a video about it, and they are all being changed anyways. If you want updated version, I'll do it on Mobifier. I also go a bit more in depth there, so go check that out. Just make sure to come back here. And while I'm at plugging other stuff, come join my Discord. I will do a poll there about my next video, and on top of that I also coach, so you come say hi or something. Your goal here is to survive as long as possible. The more you fight, the more happy little spears inside your enemies. Anyways, lethal tempo, while it's good, it has its strong and weak matchups, but at least you are allowed to fall behind and still be useful in team fights, unlike with the next 2 playstyles. Next one is PTA, currently my favorite. It has pretty much no bad matchups. Sounds too good to be true? That's because it is. First of all, you need to know KALISTA limits. If you underextend on trades, you lose it, and if you overextend, you can die. The second thing is you need to be good at positioning. You have low attack speed, so accidentally jumping wrong way can kill you. And the worst part about it is if you do fall behind, you are pretty much rendered useless. Hey, rendered, I'm funny. The last playstyle is Hail of Blades. Used to be my favorite before item changes, mainly because I could buy both Eclipse and Infinity Edge. It's used for really quick trades. You go in, one shot, and you're gone. You basically become ranged assassin. So yeah, if you couldn't guess, it's good into squishies. It's a lot of fun, but it's not that good unless you play in low ELO or just starting out with KALISTA. It's the easiest playstyle just because even hard matchups get a lot easier, and you don't get as punished for bad positioning on the lane. Sadly, it's even less reliable than my computer because it takes only one slightly fed bruiser and you are throwing toothpicks at them. That's why you want to know your build and runes before the game even starts. But going into the details would probably take me a few hours, so instead I'm gonna explain it like to a toddler, alright? First you have to decide, do you play for lane or team? You play lane. You do the funny. You profit. I hope you got it so far. You play team. You team bad. You item to kill entire enemy team and their families. You don't want to leave any witnesses. You want to take control over the tri-state area. I mean in game, of course. So basically you choose whatever fits best for the draft, and if you don't know anything about those, don't bother since you're probably low ELO and it's gonna matter less than pinging your teammates. Now that you have general idea how you can even play this champ, it's time for the fun part, matchups. Making a proper matchup tier list for bot lane is just psychotic for many reasons, so here is a generalized one. On that note, I want to let you know that you don't need any runes to win bot lane. Now don't get me wrong, runes are really useful, but just because of dynamics of the bot lane, you can play the most unhinged shit and still win. It takes only one person to fuck up the lane, so if you play it perfectly, it's max one bad player on your side, and 2 bad players on the enemy team. MF is one of those matchups where neither side have fun. Perma-slow poke, with candy damage and insane scaling on the funny R button. Legit only time you can engage is when she uses her E and you hit QE, or if she is stupid enough to walk up to engage support. I'm also gonna state the obvious, care for her Q. You can bait it out by walking up to low HP minion and hope you get away before losing half HP. When it comes to fights after 6, make sure to commit really deep, because if she uses ULT, you will have much easier time getting out if it. Just like Yuumi on your team, just dodge it without hesitation, or bad things will happen. Not enough pick rate to ban her, and she makes the lane almost unwinnable. If she knows what she is doing, that is. But if you locked in KALISTA, went to get a drink, and didn't get to dodge, all you can do is pressure her as much as possible before level 6. And after that you just have to hope she wastes her W and lets you all in her right after. If not, just go Q max no matter the build, and hope your jungler helps. You can also just leave the lane and roam with support. Now Varus is a bit trickier. He apparently didn't get the memo and was never really nerfed properly. Well, he got one nerf, but he is still strong. Glad people stopped playing him. All you have to know is to play around his cooldowns, especially Hail of Blades, and after level 6 you can only engage with ult when he doesn't see it coming, or is alone. And since he is a poke carry, you can't let him get the push prio. Surprisingly, this champ still exists for some reason. Either way, matchup is piss easy. Bait out his W, bait out his E, bait out his Q, bait out his maiden name, his credit card information, bank details, and then kill him and his entire family. In Minecraft, of course. You gonna lose brain cells playing versus this shit. You almost never fully win trades and get outscaled at every point in the game. All you can do is bait at her W and wait for her to use Q on minions, and that's the only reasonable way to trade. And considering her build changes every patch, you might just end up being better off roaming more for objectives, or spam pinging your jungler to help kill her. So here is the thing. KALISTA thrives on matchups that want to kite away from her, and Samira is exact opposite, making her a really hard matchup. The only way to win versus her is to play smart, and commit to the fight only if you know you can kill her, or when someone can stop her ult. At least you outrange her so you can abuse that before level 6. Just make sure to not walk too close so she can't engage on you. Even when you have big lead, you should still respect Samira, just because of her gap closer into high burst. Also try pressuring her away from minions, so she can't use them to escape, and if she plays safe, just spam Q and dive her. When it comes to this useless champ, there is only one scenario in which she can be an actual threat. And by threat I mean for your mental health. She is really annoying when she gets lane prio, and just mosquito bites you with her W. Other than that, she is utterly useless. All you have to do is just get the lane prio first. So you can tell your jungler to fuck off, and don't leash him. I mean, you shouldn't be leashing no matter the lane, but against Sivir you just don't leash extra hard. That's it, that's the entire magic. Just don't get hit by Q too many times and counter push and you insta-win the lane. Whenever you get to all in her, just make sure to either wait at her E by overkilling with spears, or use it when she least expects it, and finish her off with attacks. Also, if you feel confident in the timing of your ult, you can Q Sivir before it hits, to deny the shield. Pretty easy matchup unless she has some brain to use her range. Just make sure to not eat headshots and don't face tank Q since it deals more damage to the first target. Best way to go around this matchup is to fake all in to bait her E out, and then re-engage with support. It doesn't even matter what support you have because they are all equally aerodynamic into her. Also, when your support flies with your ult, their hitbox is still there, so they will block her E. It can also block the skills on the way in, so you can use it to kill your deny Kadar. Cringe champ is all I'm gonna say. You can run him down 90% of the time, you have easy follow-up after he uses E, and your Q outranges him. There is not much to talk about, just don't get hit by Q, force his E, and kill him. The first part is the most important though, because if he gets lead he can just chill under tower and poke you down like an animal. Though if you have hands and can use the passive, you can run him down even 1v2, just because he can't hit any skill shots. As an ex-Thresh OTP, I used to love this matchup, felt very skill expressive and there wasn't much room for error. Then I became ADC main and wanted to break the Geneva Convention because most supports are beyond clueless. Most of the time you just have to keep as much distance as possible, so she can't just jump on you. Also don't stay too close to the minions since they are exploding, and just poke her with Q. That's it, it really is that simple. Have not seen her in a long time. She is pretty easy matchup, you just run her down whenever your support can do anything. Early push is good because she will try to contest the wave, and with her wave clear and range, it's not too hard. Other than that you just jump around her zip and zap and it's GG easy. And because of her huge attack range on rockets, if she walks up to trade with you, use your Q to surprise counter engage, she will be forced to run away or fight it out. harder matchup than you think. You have to take smart trades or she will outscale you even during the landing phase. Best trades versus her are semi-extended. If you try to trade for too long, she will just glide on walls so you lose value from lethal tempo. If the trade is too short, she will boop you for half HP. After 6 you just have to make sure she can't do the funny racist "I am lightning" on you. If you can do that, lane shouldn't be too hard. When it comes to El Rado, your job is to deny him Bork. Other than that, just play around his Q cooldown, all in when it's down, and after 6 make sure to never disrespect him. And don't walk into his puke obviously. He is also one of the easiest champions to abuse under tower just because he struggles with the CS. One of the hardest matchups for KALISTA. Most of the time you can't even get lane prio, unless you cheese him. Cheese is dominance and you need that to make Draven submissive and breedable. Otherwise the best you can do is attack him when he is catching axes, but even then you have to be careful, because trading one attack for one is really bad. Basically stay away as far as you can, poke with Q, and hope your jungle helps. Also do not hesitate to randomly reset just to get item advantage, and if you need, just give up CS for health. Also please for the love of God do not get hit by his E, it's literal death sentence. So you just gangbang him with your entire team whenever possible and you're fine. The only other hard matchup you have to somewhat worry about, and honestly it's only hard because it requires really good positioning from you, and support needs to know how to react to him. Your best bet is to kill him before he has a chance to poke you down with QS. Fighting him if you are not full HP is usually a bad idea, and you have to play around his cooldowns a lot. If you have no way of killing him through all in, your other option, just like with few other champs, is to keep bigger distance and Q him down. She can be really annoying if she is good, because she can perma-poke you with Q, so ironically, you have to keep your distance to some extent, unless you know how to trade back. Most of the time a simple all-in wins you the fight, but if for some reason you can't do that, you can poke her with Q or with E reset. It's one of the few matchups that's viable just because of Vayne's low range and lack of engage. Anyways, after level 6 is where the fun begins. You have to chain CC her with ULT so she can't do the funny and kill you, but if you have any lead it shouldn't be too hard. Surprisingly fun and easy matchup, especially when they first time her thinking it's a good counter. All you have to know is to never overextend in the fights, and make sure to all in only when you can kill her, otherwise you will die with no escape. If Ashe plays overly aggressive you just poke her down and disengage. Also during fights you can stay still to maximize your DPS. Despite playing KALISTA so much, I almost never play versus Mr. 200 years of collective experience. Good Aphelios can be really hard to beat, so you have to know his weapon combos. Those can mess you up big time, so you want to choose your all-in smart. Also be careful of his range so you don't lose half HP farming. Before fully committing, ask yourself if his weapon combo is going to kill you or not, and if you think you are fine, make sure to jump around a lot to dodge his ULT. Mr. $200 skin can be hit or miss matchup if you don't know how to trade versus him, but it's simpler than you think. Just respect his 4th shot and Q bounce. And when it comes to fighting, you want to do it when he either uses his 4th shot, or when he is at full ammo. Remember, he is very immobile, so you can engage every time your ULT is up. Bonus trick: most ADC players have ADHD, so if you throw your W at Jhin he might end up using one of his shots. Xayah is a bit rough. Because of her E, she will try to perma-poke you with QE combo, and that's your opportunity to kill 2 birds with, wait, half bird? With 1 spear? I don't know, you get the point. She doesn't kill you without her E up, and she can't disengage from you either. Also you can bait at her W with fake engages, which isn't too hard. You should only worry about her ULT, but you can just jump around it, just like with MF. Okay, I know everything I said is a dream scenario where your support has brain, but you gotta trust me on this one. If your support is a handless noodle, you just have to play around them. Don't overforce your own trades unless you are 100% confident in them, and just wait for enemies to do something stupid. And now that we know how to pressure the lane, let's talk about how to use it. Usually there are 3 options. We can keep on bullying enemies into submissiveness by shoving the wave and diving or just poking. We can also tease them by freezing minions and wait until they do something stupid like kill themselves in game of course or run it down through mid. Our last option is to completely ignore them and just roam. It's especially good when you can't dive them or if they have good wave clear. And if they also have a reptile brain, you can use your downtime to take a Drake without junglers, since you can easily secure it with your E. When it comes to mid and late game, it's almost the same as every other AD carry, except that you can engage the fights yourself and you should be a bit more aggressive. Now that you know how to tilt everyone around, you can click the funny buttons below, check my Discord, and wait another god knows how long for the next video. I pinky promise it's gonna be sooner this time. Bye.